Okay, in this video I will show how to create a new road in VR Design Studio. In the main screen, in the home menu, you have on the right side a button which is Open Plan View. I will click on it and it opens a window, a plan view, where you can define the road layout of your project. I will just explain a little bit about this window first. So this is showing the whole project from above. This is a 2D view, a plan view. You can move the area you are looking at by click and drag on the yellow bar. You can go to the previous view you had by clicking on the bottom left button here. You can zoom and unzoom with the mouse wheel. This is a little bit slow when you have satellite pictures, but you can also zoom by clicking somewhere where you do not have an object, for example, and then drag the mouse, define a rectangle. This will zoom in that rectangle. Okay, so now let's try to create a new road. You can see we have a highway here. I will try to create a portion of that highway. So first let me zoom on that portion. To create a road, you go to the Make Road button. You have two types of roads you can create. The one which is a default one, Make Road, and the second one which is Make Road Spline. It is easier to create a road with a spline because the road just goes through the points you click on. It is an easy mode to create roads. You have also the default one, Make Road, which is closer, or which is actually what you do when you design a road. And I will show how to use that first one, Make Road, on that highway. So once you select Make Road, you have your mouse cursor changing to road defining mode. If you click somewhere, it will define the first point of your road, and until you click on the second point, it will wait to actually create the road. So I click on the second point here. It defines a second point for the road. When you have 2 points, it actually creates a straight road between the 2 points. Now I will select a third point around here. When you click for a third point, the last point is the end of the road, and the point in the middle becomes what we call a turning point. I will go in detail about the turning point after I made all the points. So I create a fourth, then move a little bit and create a fifth point around here. Once you have all the points of your road, you can right click and click on Finish Road. If you need to add a point after, you can right click anywhere on the road and add turning point and add some new turning points in your road. Okay, so let's go to one turning point, the first one of my road around here. I zoom again. This is a point I define, the turning point, and the road, as you can see, does not go through that point. This point is used to define the straight portions of the road, the black portions in that view, and because there is an angle here, a curve is defined, and the parameters of this curve can be changed by editing this turning point. So I will unzoom a little bit so we can see the actual curve of the road, which is here. So I will move a little bit that so it's matching the photo. Okay. And as you can see, the curve here is too small compared to the photo, so I will edit the parameters of that curve. So on the turning point, right click, go to Edit, Edit Turning Point. In this screen you can change the position of the turning point. I will not do that because it's already okay. You can go in type to change the type of curve. I will not go in detail about the type of curves, but these are the type of curves used for road design. For a typical road, for cars, not railways, you use a closoid type of curve, plus a combination of closoid, which is a transition curve, a circle, and then a transition curve, which is a closoid here. On the plan view, you can see the first transition, the circle, and the last transition. So transition is to make the transition between the straight portion of the road and the curved portion of the road. So now let's go to the parameters. As you can see, the curve here is bigger than the one I defined, so I will change the radius of the curve, about 1 kilometer radius. Okay, and adjust a little bit the position. So now, just let's unzoom. The first portion of that road is closer to the reality, and I will do the same for the second part. Again, just change the radius a little bit, change the position, and do the same for the last point. Okay. So after you define the turning points in the plan view, you can change the elevation of the road. To do that, you right click on the road, go to Edit, Edit Road. This will show you the elevation of the road and the elevation of the terrain in gray here. Around here should be the river we saw on the map. Here are the small mountains around the river. So let's add a turning point in the elevation curve, a second one here. On a turning point, if you zoom, you can see two small dots on the left and right. If you click on the dot and drag the mouse, you can change the size of the curve. You can also double click or right click on the turning point itself and change that parameter with a keyboard input. Okay. And here must be the river, so I will actually define a bridge on the road. To do that, again right click and you can add a bridge. In blue you can see the extent of the bridge. Again, on the left and right side of that bridge definition you have small dots you can click and drag. If you click on the second one and drag, it will change the length of the bridge, and if you click on the first one it will change the start position of the bridge, keeping the same length. So it will move also the right point together. Okay. So I will OK this screen, do not do any more editing. Okay. Then let's just go here. I will show you the red line which is displayed here. The red line shows where the terrain has been cut by the road, and some cutting and bunking will be generated around the road. What you can see here on the photo, you have this gray part which is actually a cutting in the actual road. You can see that the red part is almost matching the photo here, so we defined the road correctly at the correct height. Here is the river we saw. Here was a flat land around the river and the bridge of the highway going over that part. Okay, I will go back to the 3D view, and in the 3D view the road we just created should be somewhere. I know where it is. It is around here. So I will use J key again to jump to the road. Okay, so this is the road we just created.